Welcome, everybody. Welcome. I'm really happy to have this window of practice time with you today. So we are focusing for today's work on Agni as our muse point. Agni is it is the all-knowing force that is in all of manifest creation, but it is the all-knowing force that's inside of us as human beings, in the center of the wheel of our body, in the center of the garden. It is the fire, it's the bonfire in the garden of our being. And very oftentimes, due to all manner of different circumstances and situations, externally and internally, that fire can begin to dim. And for those of us here in the United States practicing, particularly in Madison, we are just beginning to emerge from the polar vortex. The first indications of warming air. And of course, it's only 12 degrees Fahrenheit. But that in and of itself can be quite a reducing factor in the power of our Agni. So when we work with Agni as practitioners, it helps us to stay healthy, to stay vibrant, to stay in love with the journey of our life. But it can also be this incredible transforming, healing heat. It's the all-knowing force that we as practitioners can tap into to accelerate our own transformation. And so today, I want to tend to the fire of transforming any kind of raw emotion that might be in your spectrum right now. So transforming raw emotions and staying out of the stories that we associate with those raw emotions. The raw emotions tend to be triggers, and our triggers are like zip drives of information that when we tend to them with consciousness, it can really poke and provoke us to grow in beautiful, meaningful, and sustainable ways. But we have to stay out of the story, and we have to stay in the sensation, right? The sensation, and to open ourselves up as witness, so that we're not under the thumb of it like the deep cold, to watch and to work from the place of witness. So I want you to begin right now, as I'm still kind of setting the stage for us, to presence into your gut brain. Place your hands on your low belly and just begin to feel yourself breathing here, presencing into the gut brain, into your instinctual self. And let the breath be primordial. Let the breath be coming to you, and let it be moving through you as if it's coming from the beginning of time, piercing and penetrating and permeating this moment in time, and then moving right along to the end of time, unto eternity. So just breathing into your gut brain, and recognizing that when we work with our Agni, we are becoming 100% responsible, 100% responsible for who we are, for how we are, and for our perception in every situation. We are becoming a lamp unto ourselves and for each other, to be a lighthouse for yourself and for every other. So I've been speaking to this idea a lot this week, and I want to articulate it again because a lot of you here today haven't been here previously this week. And that's the power of homeopathy. So for the Germans on call, I know that homeopathy is very big in your country, and maybe you are practitioners with homeopathy, and that is the power of the minuscule, right? So I want to tell you that if you're new to this kind of stuff, if you can only take a few breaths, if you can only do certain components of what I'm suggesting that you lean into, that is fantastic. Know that you don't have to change yourself in order to meet these practices, because these practices will change you patiently, gradually, enduringly. Because we keep throwing, as we practice, we keep throwing logs on the fire. And that fire is the transformational fire, okay? So activating the Agni and recognizing our innate power and potency. So I want to start with some brain balancing breathing. This is a beautiful technique, and you're going to create a mudra with your right hand. You're going to pull the index and the middle finger of your right hand in towards the center of the palm so that your right ring finger can alternately open and close the left nostril, and your right thumb will alternately be opening and closing the right nostril, okay? So you're either going to do this in one of two ways. You'll do long and slow breaths, both in and out. So we're gonna start in one breath directional flow. So starting long and slow, and maybe staying long and slow, or doing what we call breath of fire, which is really fast and rhythmic and hypnotic and transformational. So I'm going to demonstrate both. So I'm going to inhale long and slow through the left, and then I'm going to exhale out of the right. And I'm going to keep that going. Inhale through the left and exhale through the right, okay? Otherwise, you can inhale left and then exhale right. Inhale left. Okay, so when I do these demonstrations, I don't tend to do them uber slow because I am practicing at the rate that is appropriate for my physiology. But be really honest about what your appropriate rate of practice is. If that long and slow feels like home base, absolutely stay there, okay? So every time I'm exhaling, I'm pulling my abdominal wall back and in and up. And this is cultivating navel strength, which is cultivating the Agni, the fire, the inner fire. We're becoming masters of our own radiance and our own health in doing this. And something really useful is happening when we develop wherewithal and strength in our navel. Then our capacity to live from a heart-centered place is so much stronger. We want to be heart-centered, okay? So let's give this a try. I'm going to call the articulations for the long and slow first, and then I'll move us towards the breath of fire. So inhale through the left nostril, and then exhale out of the right. Inhale left, and exhale right. And stay with that, or inhale left and exhale, pulling the abs in, exhale right. So I've just demonstrated 3 different sort of time signatures: the long and the slow, the single time, and the double time, okay? So find your fit. And you can also progress through the practice from slow to fast, okay? Throwing logs on the fire, diving into the relational field, relating to your own power and potency, relating to your own Agni. Transforming any raw emotions that you may have in your being, in your heart, in your mind, transforming the raw emotions, giving them pathways through the practice to find purpose, because raw emotions, when left unattended, will almost always become corrosive and bitter and problematic, and will create distance in our lives from ease, dis-ease. We want to diminish, we want to eliminate that distance, right? So that we are unified with our easefulness and with our joy and with our innate happiness and with the fact that we are We are renewable resources. Last pulsation on this side, we're going to do the same breathing, but we're going to alternate sides. Again, this is a brain balancing breath technology. So now we're inhaling, maybe long and slow, through the right nostril, and then exhaling long and slow through the left nostril. So try that, inhaling through the right and exhaling through the left. Otherwise, a little bit faster, taking it at single time. Inhale right, exhale, pulling the abs in, exhale left. Developing your navel skills, working with your core, working with the instinctual center of your low belly as you breathe and as you meditate and as you embody, as you savor, enjoy. Now maybe you want to amp it up and take a double time. It up. You're doing so good. Stay in it, stay with it, stay with it. And if it's triggering you, that is a great sign. It means you're right on point. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Take a moment to metabolize everything that just happened inside of your anatomy. Practice, we are taking time to enter our physiology and to open up as a witness, to be a witness, to bring all of our extraordinary and delightful enthusiasm to all these far out things that we do in this work. You know, in a lot of the old yogic texts that were transmitted by the original rishis and seers and trailblazers and code carriers, in these old texts all over the place, there are indications around the fact that if we want to succeed, and if we want to excel, and if we want to be connected to life at large, it is of primary importance that we have a relationship with the inner fire. And so that's what all of these different techniques today are geared towards cultivating for us, is our relationship with our inner fire and creating passageways for the raw emotions to get transformed in an accelerated way. So you're going to take the arms up, and then you're going to make fists, and you're going to tap the sides of the ribs. Okay, so try that. Up and then tap, up and tap, up and tap, up and tap. So you're striking the ribs, you're escaping the cage, the rib cage, you're escaping the cage, you're creating a crack in the shell so that the light can come out, and also so the light can come in, so that you can be a lighthouse of loving awareness, of intelligence, a kind of pranic intelligence that exceeds the intellect. Feed the intelligence of your chi as you're doing this practice, and we're going to strike the cage 108 times. You don't have to count. I'll keep track and I'll cue us when to stop. So we're going to also be doing the breath of fire. Okay, so the inhale and exhale. So I'm pulling again, I'm working with my navel power. So as the elbows strike, that's when I'm exhaling. Okay, so let's do this. Set your gaze, please, at the tip of your nose as you do the practice. So inhale and then exhale. Good, and bring it to a close. Beautiful. Whew, moves a lot of chi, doesn't it? So you can feel it, no doubt, in your physiology, but become aware of how much more clear, how much more clarified, how much more coherent your entire field is. Your entire field. Dis-ease, my friends, begins not in the body, but it begins in the field around us. So as practitioners, we want to take really pristine care of not just, the earthy, molecular, substantive body, but we want to take care of the whole zip code of our electromagnetic field, okay? And not only do we benefit, but everyone else that we come in contact with also benefits. So just take a moment to tune in to how the raw emotions are going through an accelerated transformation. That can be fear, it can be anger, it can be anxiety, it can be jealousy, and blah, blah, blah. We know what all of these raw emotions are, right? So we're creating pathways of purpose so that we can reroute that energy, because raw emotion is a ton of energy. So long as we stay out of the story, we open up as witness. And the thing about emotion is that it's always energy in motion on its way to the ultimate destination, which is in a perfect flow. Well, in every flow, the ultimate destination is loving awareness and love force intelligence, okay? And if we don't give the raw emotions the opportunity to make that journey, then that emotion will become commotion. So we're taking time to steer the ship, to be sovereign selves, to elevate our capacity to be responsible. What is responsibility? The ability to respond. All right, so moving right along, we're going to take the arms. Actually, I want to give you the mudra first. You're going to conjoin the index and middle fingers and the ring and pinky fingers, and then create these right angles with the thumbs and the index fingers. So this is what's happening. So we're going to take the arms out, push the arms out at the level of the shoulders, have the left palm facing the earth, and have the right palm facing the sky. And you're going to set your gaze at your belly. So setting the gaze at the belly. Obviously, you're not going to be able to see your belly. You're going to be sort of tucking your gaze into the lower lids of your eyes. And then we're going to return to the breath of fire that we were just doing. Again, we're working with our Agni. We're tapping into the all-knowing force that is inside of us and that is in all manifest creation, so as to accelerate our transformation. So here we go. I'm going to, at a certain point, cue you to flip the hands so that your left hand then will be facing the sky and the right hand will be facing the earth. We're always interested in creating a hormonal harmony, but also harmony in the left and the right hemispheres of the brain, okay? So set the gaze at the navel and then begin the breathing. Even when I stop and I talk to you, stay with it. And in this moment, as I ask you, friends, what are you lovingly putting onto this fire of transformation? What are you throwing onto the fire? And the thing about the fire is that no matter what you put onto it, it's going to make the fire brighter. It is going to make the fire brighter. A few more pulses. You're getting your glow out of lockdown with all these Agni practices. It's so important. Now flip the hands. stay in it, even when your mind says, I am so done with it. Move across the threshold. These practices are perfectly designed to heal us up and to move us up so that we are saying yes to life, we are saying yes to victory, and we are saying yes to the elimination of stagnation in the chi in our bodies. We are saying yes to getting rid of the densities and the distortions that keep us from really being in love with our lives. A few more. Good. And then bring the practice to a close. Take a moment to metabolize, to tune into what it was that you were lovingly throwing onto the bonfire, onto the Agni. And feel your inner radiance amping up. So this next exercise, when I teach this exercise in live context, very oftentimes I get a lot of resistance from people because in a professional context, people don't like to stick their tongue out. But I'm gonna ask you to do it. But you don't have to stick it like wildly out and look like a beast. Just a little bit, okay? This is a liver-loving exercise. So we're using the configuration of the mouth and the slight extension of the tongue to dive through the liver and to transform any of the stagnation in the liver chi. This is so important, especially as we're focused today on transforming the raw emotions so that we can stay out of the story and open up as witness, so that we're always, so our communication channels are open, and so that we are communicating from our consciousness, not from our personhood, right? This is so important in evolutional communication, in all things ESI, and in all things integrative practices, to be communicating from our hearts and from our consciousness, and to have a rapid intercommunication between the heart and the consciousness. Such a beautiful journey. Okay, so without further ado, this liver-loving exercise, you're gonna open your mouth and you're gonna just kind of stick the tongue out a little bit. You don't have to stick it all the way out, although sometimes we do that, but not for this particular exercise. And you're gonna pant like a dog. Okay? You're gonna feel an incredible sort of like air conditioning effect as the air is moving across the surface of your wet tongue. Now this is gonna all be happening as you plug your elbows in to the sides of the ribs. Again, remember we were escaping the cage as we were doing that aura charge, the electromagnetic field charge, as we pulled our arms down 108 times. So we're plugging the elbows right back into the same place, right? And we're gonna stick our tongues out. Palms are facing up, the fingers are energized, so there's a kind of Kung Fu Qigong frequency of transparency and alivity in your hands. And you're gonna look at the tip of the nose, you're gonna open your mouth and stick the tongue out and pant like a dog. Let's do it together, okay? The more strange these practices are, oftentimes the more effective they are. We love that in IP. So stay with it even when I talk to you. You want to corral the chi into your liver, because that's where a lot of those raw emotions like to lurk and get embedded, okay? Corral the chi into the liver, releasing any of the stagnant energy. Be a master of your own radiance. Yes to life. Yes to victory. Yes to eliminating stagnation. Yes to being a lighthouse of loving intelligence. This is a pranic, chi-driven intelligence that far exceeds just the intellect. It's something so broad-banded, and inclusive and timeless. 3 more. Pants like a dog. Good. So let's move right along here. Place your right hand at your belly with the palm facing in towards your body. And then place your left hand at your kidneys with your palm facing away from your body. So come into this position. And in closing, we're just going to pack some chi into the lower body, into this vicinity where the fire gets stoked, into the kunda. So breathe into your low belly, please. Pack the chi into your low belly. Inhaling into the belly and then exhaling out of the nose. And then inhaling into your kidneys. And exhaling out of the nose, turning your loving gaze inward towards what is within you right now in this moment. Now bring your hands to the sides of your ribs and inhale. Moving the ribs, expanding the ribs, expanding the ribs. Exhale. One more. Packing the chi into the ribs. Exhale. And then bring both hands, please, to your lower belly. Feeling your cellular body. Feeling your cellular body. Letting your consciousness open up to the vastness of this inner web within you, and to the vastness of the outer web that we are a part of. None of us are here by accident. We've all been placed here to become brilliant, to be on purpose, to be of service, to be loving, to be awake in the world. And these skin suits that we're in are but temporary costumes. And the person that is underneath the costume is the one who is eternal, and the one who has the keys to the kingdom, the one who is in the relational field, the one who is in the elevated relational dynamic with the love and the regenerative force that is 100% available always inside of us. You are not here by accident. Take this closing moment to just feel a sincere appreciation for the way that you showed up today to participate in this practice, to move your chi. And the thing about challenging times, which we're definitely in, the thing about challenging times is that when our life force is strong, we create magnetism, we create opportunity, we are generators and deliverers of change that is progressive, right? So when we're navigating resistance, when we're navigating difficulty, which we've been doing a ton of this past year, we are always served well if our life force is as strong as the resistance that we're facing, or if our life force is even stronger than the resistance that we're facing. And that's what all these techniques and methodologies do for us, is they amp up our life force. So our life force is either as strong or more strong than that which we are facing. It's been beautiful to spend this time with you today. I hope to see you tomorrow. Take really good care. Sat Nam and Namaste.